What is up, the Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P back once again for LNU. What up, though? It is Monday. It's a Monday night, baby. So, we're here. We came all the way over from the Motor City Cats on YouTube to grace the screen of LNU to bless you with the present. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to LNU. Shout out to everybody involved. Um, but one thing is for certain, and three things are for sure. When you see me on your TV or on your mobile screens or on your tablets or your desktops or your laptops, whatever it is that you are viewing me upon, and I thank you. But number one is that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. Number three, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking, how do you keep your Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's very simple. You like, you subscribe, and you share. After you've done those things, you've kept your Lions news pragmatic. We keep it real around here. We keep it realistic. What we don't do is hot takes. And what we don't do is talk out of the poop scoop just to be talking. All right. We're going to get into some things today. What up, though, Antonio Jenkins? Says, not gonna lie, I don't know why Tate didn't sign yet. We're going to get to all of that today because today is the day that we talk about the situation. Just to give you guys a brief rundown on the situation, okay? Just to get you caught up to what's going on. Number one, the Houston Texans, I believe, signed Jalen Higgins, who's a second-round draft pick, to the first ever fully guaranteed contract for a second-round draft pick. Okay? Or is it the first ever during at least it's during the rookie cap, the rookie salary cap era. Okay? Or the rookie, what do they call it? The rookie wage scale. That's number one. The second thing is that a report came out. Okay? And there's a lot to this report. But basically, what had happened was, if you remember back when Lamar Jackson was saying that the league was colluding because basically the Cleveland Browns screwed up and gave one Deshaun Watson. Okay. He's got many names, but they gave him a fully guaranteed contract. I think it was like $230 million, fully guaranteed. Now they are really regretting that because he ain't playing. And the next step for Deshaun Watson is to be cut, to be released from the Cleveland Browns at some point. And they're just trying to kind of hold out as much as they can and as long as they can so they don't have to eat as much dead cap as they would eat. I think this year, if they release him, it's like 100 million dead cap or something like that. Next year, I think it's 71 million or something like that. So it might be next year that they release him. Obviously, they drafted a bevy of quarterbacks. I think they drafted 3 or 4 this year. Obviously, one of those being Shedeur Sanders. They drafted Dylan Gabriel, and the list goes on. Okay, so because they did that, the rest of the league, the other owners, apparently were incensed with the Browns owner Jimmy Haslam. So the rest of the league apparently, okay, started colluding. They were like, basically, this is an outlier. This is not going to happen again. We will not, and I repeat, we will not be giving any more guaranteed contracts. Okay. Let me turn up my mic because someone had mentioned something to me the other day. All right. So let me get this turned up and make sure that y'all can hear it. All right. Because I know sometimes when I restart my computer, it goes down. Like my volume to be able to hear anything went all the way to 0. And the microphone volume, yep, it went down to 8. So let me put that back up for you. All right. Put it up around 80. And you should be good to go. So if you're hard of hearing, I apologize. All right. So anyway, let me get back on my ish. What up, though, Dr. Detroit? Yeah, we're explaining it right now. Okay. So he says, what's this about? All right. So the league was colluding. They said that they weren't going to give out any more fully guaranteed contracts, especially not the quarterbacks, because Lamar Jackson was next up. And because Deshaun Watson, who is not a fraction of the player that Lamar Jackson is, got a fully guaranteed contract. Well, Lamar Jackson's mom and who represents him and people around him were pushing for him to get a fully guaranteed contract. There was some situation with Russell Wilson, who had some contract talk that he was dealing with as well. So basically, there was a document that came out that Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson had never seen until this report came out about a month ago, I want to say. And it was handled by Mike Florio and what's the other guy's name? Pablo Torre. Okay. So if you guys want to later after the show, if you guys haven't seen this, you can go to Pablo Torre. I think he has a podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. And then he goes over the whole situation and breaks it down. So I'm just giving you guys the cliff notes as to how this pertains to the Detroit Lions and Tate Ratlage. Okay. So he goes and he does this whole expose thing where it was actually found that there was evidence to believe that the league and the owners were involved in collusion pertaining to these fully guaranteed contracts. So now what happens? This is where it gets crazy. Okay. What happens is this information comes out and everything. The NFLPA, which is the NFL Players Association, is the governing body. It is the body that's supposed to be for the people, by the people, and so on and so forth. But you know how that works out at times. Okay. The NFLPA was supposed to be advising their players and letting them know about things. The NFLPA actively engaged in hiding the findings. Right? You would think, yeah, we won against the league. We found that they were colluding. No. Not so fast as the NFLPA. We are going to hide the findings from our players. You dig? So the reason that they were hiding the findings from their players, this is some high school stuff right here. This ain't even, I don't even, this is tomfoolery. This isn't even sinister. Okay, you like, oh, there might be a sinister motive. Somebody might be paying the NFLPA's higher ups under the table, and to help them get. No. This is some high school bullish right here. So basically, J.C. Tretter, funny because he used to play for the Browns, right? So I think he got cut by the Browns, and then he ran for. Ran for office or representation of the NFLPA. So I think he's the president of the NFLPA, or he's the highest kind of player member. So he basically was after DeMaurice Smith's job, because DeMaurice Smith was the executive director, and for whatever reason he wasn't able to get this job, so he brought in someone. And the crazy thing is that he brought this person in right at the 11th hour so that the owners did not have any opportunity to vet the person and to kind of do any research and find out and figure out who this person was that they were voting on. It was like, nah, you got to vote on this guy right now. It's got to be done right now. Okay. No time to investigate. So this guy, I always forget the guy's name. Basically, he was involved in a huge scandal. Okay, again, I don't remember the name of the company. That's why you have to go and check out Pablo Torre's podcast. Pablo Finds Out, to get all this information, but you got to do that after this show. Okay, I think it's Lance something. If Taylor Made Media is here, he knows the guy's name, so you can help me out. What up though, Hassani Mahdi? So this guy who he kind of props up there, they vote on him, They bring him in. He was like the CEO of this. I can't remember the name of the company, but they were involved in a huge scandal. And they had to like pay some money because they were involved in this scandal. He's the guy like kind of pulling the strings. Lloyd Howell. There you go. Appreciate you, TaylorMade. Booz Allen. There we go. Okay, so he was a CEO or some high up exec in Booz Allen. If you guys don't know who Booz Allen is, one of the largest scandals in American history, as far as companies are concerned. So they brought in Lloyd Howell. He was doing this, that, and the third thing because J.C. Tretter wants to kind of move up the ladder after Lloyd Howell is out. He wants to be the next in charge, right? The reason that this document was hidden, that laid out all the collusion and all the evidence that they had that the league and the owners were colluding, was that J.C. Tretter was bad mouthing Russell Wilson, and it is in these documents. The things that he was saying about him, he was throwing him under the bus, he was calling him out of his name, he was this, that, and the third thing. This is why J.C. Tretter and Lloyd Howell elected to hide the document from the players. This is why Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson and many other players never saw this document until Pablo Torre exposed it. Okay? Because he was bad mouthing Russell Wilson, calling him all types of probably dropped some N bombs and some F bombs and some R bombs and all the bombs that you ain't supposed to drop. He probably dropped some of those and was like, yeah, we can't let this get out. We can't let this see the light of day because they will oust me. But guess what? If J.C. Tretter and Lloyd Howell are not replaced, that shows you the weakness of the players' union. Because these guys hid something from you that you were supposed to get. It's about your livelihood, about your contract situation, about your job, about your money. And those are the people that are supposed to be having your best interest at heart. So I think that if the players' union is not the weakest union in America, J.C. Tretter and Lloyd Howell will be shortly removed. And if they are not removed, when it comes time for terms to be renewed and all these things, neither one of them will be back at the top of the NFL Players Association. So that is where we are now. 30 out of 32 second-round draft picks have not signed. It is not Tate Ratlage trying to screw the Detroit Lions. It is a collective situation where they are trying to get guaranteed money and they are trying to get everything together. Okay, so let's go over an article that we have to explain Tate Ratlage's situation. Okay, so this is from Detroit Lions on SI. Of course, I already know what it is. My guy, John Macaron, friend of the show, the doc. Okay, it says Tate Ratlage dilemma may linger beyond start of training camp. The Detroit Lions rookie offensive lineman Tate Ratlage and several other second-round picks have the opportunity to significantly change the landscape for future players. Just prior to the official start of training camp, 30 of 32 second-round picks have not inked their names to rookie contracts. Ratledge, who was the number's 57 overall pick, is likely awaiting how others selected in front of him proceed with their contract negotiations. There is now a growing push for second-round picks to be given fully guaranteed rookie contracts. How'd I do so far? I'm good? Okay. All right, and this is all from memory. You know what I'm saying? No notes. Off the dome. Spitting. Freestyling. No. All right. Last year, linebacker Chris Braswell of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was selected at the exact same position at Ratledge, inked a 4-year, $6,785,196 rookie deal with $3,885,353 in total guaranteed money. 2 picks made in the 2025 NFL draft second round and their signed contracts have greatly altered the landscape for those selected after them in the same round. Carson Schweschinger of the Cleveland Browns, Those damn Cleveland Browns are all over this. Number 33 overall pick, and Jaden Higgins of the Houston Texans, number 34 overall, have in contracts that are fully guaranteed. Now, Jaden Higgins, while he was drafted after Schlesinger, he was the first one to get his fully guaranteed. So I hadn't heard about Carson Schlesinger, but I guess it makes sense as to why these are the only two that have signed their contracts, because both of those are fully guaranteed. Since then, no other second round pick, including Ratledge, has agreed to terms. Several analysts have urged players to band together to ensure their best interests contractually are met. Okay, again, because the NFLPA is not banding together at the top to make sure that the players' best interests are at heart. Okay, so the players got to do it themselves. According to Pro Football Talk, the second round picks, okay, again, Mike Florio, the second round picks should have held out earlier. At a minimum, they should have collectively skipped mandatory minicamp. Instead, all of them signed participation agreements and showed up for work despite not being employed throughout the offseason program. The former Georgia Bulldogs offensive lineman could miss the start of training camp. He has until Wednesday to ink his rookie deal. If no deal is agreed upon, Ratledge will follow Chargers wide receiver Trey Harris, who is now holding out from the start of camp after not reporting over the weekend. Okay, so it could get spicy. It could get dicey. But in this situation, I don't blame Tate Ratlage at all. Let me see what you guys are saying. Booz Allen Hamilton. Samuel Taylor says, who cares? I don't know if you're a Lions fan, Samuel Taylor. You should care if it's Tate Ratlage. Mr. Detroit City says, oh, man. All right, Mr. Detroit City. I'm not reading that. Okay, so in this situation, I do not begrudge Tate Ratlage. There are some things at play here. You are going up against imagine, put yourself in these shoes. Okay, imagine you are working for a Detroit auto manufacturer. Okay, I know there's not a whole lot of those around anymore like there used to be, but follow me. You're working for a particular Detroit auto manufacturer, and that auto manufacturer is known for penny pinching and trying not to give you everything that you're worth. You're at the front of the assembly line. You letting everybody know, okay, stop, go, let it flow. You know, stop, drop, shut it down, open up shop. Oh no, that's how Rough Riders roll. Okay, anyway. So you're at the head of the assembly line, and you make everything stop and go. You make all the decisions about how production gets put out. If you guys are meeting the deadlines, if you're falling behind the deadlines, the quality checks, everything. You are the top dog. And that Detroit automaker doesn't want to give you the money that you deserve. Like, without you, their assembly line will crumble. Okay. But they're trying to give you pennies on the dollar. You trying to get, $10,000 a month. They're trying to give you $4,000. Okay. Now you have your union. Okay. And then at the top of your union, you've got some guys who are engaged in some talk about one of your constituents on the assembly line. They don't like him. They're bad-mouthing him. He's on the assembly line. Okay? Whether they bad-mouthed him or not is inconsequential, because you're trying to get your money. He's trying to get his money. Everybody is trying to get their money, and this automaker is not trying to give it to you. So what are you guys going to do? Your representation isn't trying to help you out, and your employer isn't trying to give you what you are deserving of. So you guys band together on the assembly line and organize a strike. You walk out. You don't come to work. Okay? So you're trying to hold your employer's company's feet to the fire, and you're also holding the union's leadership feet to the fire, right? Because now that union leadership, if you're not gonna come to work, that union leadership needs to get a meeting with that automaker and be like, look, man, this is what's happening. Let's try to work out a deal where this report that we was talking about, such and such, okay, we was talking about Bill, it doesn't see the light of day. Okay. The problem in this situation is that the report has already seen the light of day. So what is the NFLPA going to do? What are they going to do at the top? But more importantly, how is this being handled? Are they working with Tate Ratlage behind the scenes? Are they trying to go, look, okay, you can have a fully guaranteed contract, just sign on the dotted line? Because now, while someone said, who cares? Here's why you should care. You have to look at Shamar Stewart's situation. Shamar Stewart's situation is different, but it's the same because the ramifications are the same. Okay? The ramifications are the same. A story that you guys might not know. This is a story that I had forgotten. I think it was 1984. Bo Jackson was not drafted originally by the Oakland Raiders. Bo Jackson was originally drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But guess what happened with Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson wanted to play baseball. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You are not playing baseball while you are playing football for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Absolutely not. Okay? So he didn't sign his contract. And guess what happened with Bo Jackson? Bo Jackson re-entered the draft the next season. Okay? And that's where he was taken by the Oakland Raiders. Shamar Stewart is in a similar situation because Shamar Stewart is not a person that has ever been in any trouble with the law. He's not a person that has had any type of issues. He's not Mike Green. He's not Mike Green at all. The Cincinnati Bengals are trying to put language in their contract where he has to sign this contract. There's a morality clause in the contract, meaning if he gets in any sort of trouble, they can void certain parts of his contract, certain years, certain monies. He doesn't want to sign that contract, not because he's planning to get in trouble, but because it's ridiculous that you've never put that in a contract before. You've had Chad Ochocinco. You've had TJ Houshmandzadeh, who, TJ's cool. I don't think he's gotten in any trouble, right? You had Chris Henry. We know Chris Henry stayed in trouble. Okay? Legal trouble. Chris Henry died in a questionable situation where he was in an altercation. Okay. Never in the history of the Bengals. I mean, you had Chris Collinsworth, and we know he's engaged in all types of tomfoolery with PFF. But you never in the history of your organization have given out a contract that has had a morality clause that involved language allowing you to void years of a player's contract if they get into any trouble. Shamar Stewart refuses to sign the contract. It has gotten very public and very ugly. He has taken shots at the Bengals. He said they're just trying to win an argument instead of win some games, in his opinion. Okay, the Bengals are dug in. Shamar Stewart is dug in. If the Bengals do not budge, Shamar Stewart will be entering the 2026 NFL draft. So now that's why the ramifications for Tate Ratlage and everyone else in the second round is a big deal, because if any of these guys decide not to sign their rookie contracts, they will re-enter the NFL draft next season. So any of you that didn't like the Tate Ratlage pick, and any of you that didn't like you got an interior offensive lineman, I wanted this, that, and the third thing. Well, guess what happens? If we don't sign him this year, we're going to have to draft someone else next year if it's not Tate Ratlage again, which that would be crazy. How does that happen? Right? You draft him again. It will probably be another interior offensive lineman that you have to draft and sign next year. So it behooves everyone in the NFL to get this done. The only people that it behooves not to get it done is people that made second round draft picks that they want to do over. I want a mulligan. I don't think I should have took that guy. There were other people that were available. Let me get you guys' thoughts in the comments. Let me see here. We got a lot of comments to catch up with. So let's go catch it up. Let me see. So we got, didn't we just draft Tate? WTF is going on. That is K Press. What's going on, K Press? I see you over there changing your name. Let's see. Chef, what up? Oh, my guy. He says, what up, though, Chef? And not gonna lie, kind of worried about this Anzalone situation. Yeah, so we got Anzalone and Tate to worry about right now. Though there's a lot of contract situations that we are worrying about. He's ignoring the damn chat SMH. No, I wasn't. I was explaining what's going on, trying to give y'all the information that you came to see. Detroit Fan Man says, only 2 second round picks have signed. They got guarantees. 30 remain hungry for guarantees. If they don't sign before camp, they hold out. Right. But there's no collusion. Well, everybody's colluding. Actually, the league is colluding. The second round picks are colluding. Detroit Fat Man, I'm just not gonna entertain it. I know you're trolling. I'm just Billy the Kid says Tate hasn't signed because Texans gave their second round pick 4 year guaranteed contract, which is unprecedented. Cleveland too. Thus, the other 30 players haven't signed until they got theirs guaranteed. You know, the Cleveland Browns, as I said, have been in on this from the top. They created this situation with Deshaun Watson, and then now they've got the rest of the league in a tizzy, and then they go, hey, let's give our second round pick a fully guaranteed contract too, because the Cleveland Browns are progressive like that. We love giving people guaranteed contracts. They should remove the Cleveland Browns from the league. I'm sorry. John Hughes says, I heard the second rounders was about guaranteed money. Yes. That is true. Is my mic on? Is my mic on? It was the Texans and the Browns. Just trying to win an argument and not win games. Didn't know the Bengals were married. Yeah. Shout out. Boom. If any of y'all are married, y'all know. You know, sometimes it's about winning the argument. Sometimes it's not even about being right. You just want to win the argument. It's always like that on the other end, but you know, that ain't my business. Stupid organizations doing stupid things. Facts. Detroit Fan Man says, got to be honest, I'm a bit behooved, but who cares? The NFL can hold the line. Balls in the NFLPA's court. Well, that's the thing about the NFLPA. What court do they have? After this season, and I don't think it should be during the season. I think it should be an off-season situation. We're about to start training camp in a few days. Rookies report on Wednesday, right? So that's why they have until Wednesday to sign this contract. We don't need Tate Ratlage holding out. If you want Tate Ratlage to be not your starting center. I don't know when that would happen. If that happened this year, it would probably be later in the year. This hurts his development and his ability to be cross-trained at center, to understand what he's got to do to get reps with the second team as a center, and so on and so forth. Missing parts of camp hurts. The NFLPA, after this season, the players need to be like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are not going to be represented by you anymore. So JC Tretter, Lloyd Howe, you guys got to go. We need to get somebody in here, former player or not, who has our best interest at heart, who is not going to be sitting in here cuddling up to the NFL. And it wasn't even cuddling up to the NFL. That's the crazy part. It wasn't cuddling up to the NFL because I want to help you guys out. And you've made a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge deal under the table. It wasn't even any of that. It was, I was talking crazy about Russell Wilson and I don't want it to get out in public. So let's hide this thing. Brother, I mean, how irresponsible can you be? If you want to talk choppy about Russell Wilson, that's fine. Talk choppy about Russell Wilson privately. It's in this document, the things that he was saying. And he just didn't want it to get out because he doesn't want to seem like a bad guy. So because you don't want to seem like a bad guy, you got 32 rookies or 30 rookies holding out. That's crazy. That is absolutely wild. So that's why I said in the offseason coming up, after this season, after hopefully the Detroit Lions win the Super Bowl and they hoist the Lombardi, the NFLPA needs to be torn up and torn down from the top to the bottom. And it may not be from the top to the bottom. It may just be from the top to a couple people below. But whoever the people are responsible for this type of chicanery, this type of tomfoolery, this type of poppycock and boulder dash, whoever is responsible for this needs to be removed. And they need to get competent representation at the top of the NFLPA. So once you go back to the collective bargaining table and all these other things, then you can fight for things like guaranteed contracts. Okay, I think contracts should be guaranteed. It's the NFL. You are one play away from never being able to play football again. To be honest, you're one play away from dying. The NFL is just that serious. Ask DeMar Hamlin. Okay? We've seen it happen. We've seen it happen on the field. So, all right, what's the next? Look at this. look at this. Hold on. what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Detroit Fan Man says it's at least legal for the players to collude though. Yeah, I mean you have a union. That's what collusion is all about. Unions are all about collusion. You get together, all your people, and say we're not gonna take it. All right. This chick here. You're not blocked, Kay. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is the president of NFLPA until further notice. Well, Reeves-Maybin got to do something about JC Tretter then, huh? Just my prediction. Some team buckles and gives the guarantees. Someone weak like the Packers and the rest of the league follow suit. Then next year we begin to fight about top 100 pick guarantees. I don't know that it's buckling. Okay. I think this is all about the Cincinnati Bengals trying to win an argument instead of trying to win some games. I would sign Tate Ratlage. Anyone who has a second rounder who's important, okay? Because every second rounder is not important. Do you think Jalen Higgins was important to the Houston Texans? No, he's a wide receiver. Okay, yeah, they have to replace Tank Dell, but you still don't have no damn offensive line. So that wasn't really important. That wasn't important for the Houston Texans. Schwessinger is a linebacker. Is he important for the Cleveland Browns? Is he going to change their defense and make it top 5? Probably not. Tate Ratlage, after you've lost both Frank Ragnow and Kevin Zeitler, is important. Because Tate Ratlage is expected to start somewhere on your offensive line. If he's not starting at center, which I don't believe he will, he's starting at guard. If he's not starting at guard, he's starting at center. You understand what I'm saying? This is an important piece. Anybody who is in a situation like the Detroit Lions, who have picked a second rounder, who believe that he will be a day one starter, who need him to be a day one starter because he's replacing and trying to fill some shoes of some Titans, of some Giants, to the best of his ability. And no, not the New York Giants or the Tennessee Titans. Okay. That person needs to be signed. So I wouldn't call that buckling. If you sign a second round bench warmer to a guaranteed contract, maybe it's considered buckling. Okay. I don't think the Detroit Lions are in a position to go, well, we're going to stand firm and we're not going to sign you to a fully guaranteed contract. I don't think you're in that position because of who it is. Now, if Isaac Tesla, okay, if Isaac Tesla was your second round pick and he was doing this, fine. Don't sign him. Because we have J-Mo and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta and Timmy Patrick and Khalif Raymond and Jahmyr Gibbs, who, shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs, is talking about lining up out wide a little bit more, being split out a little bit more. Okay? A lot bit more, actually. Don't know if it's cap, don't know if it's smoke and mirrors, smoke screen. We shall see. Johnny Moe did say he wants the home run. He did say he wants big explosive plays. Imagine a 4 wide receiver set with Timmy Patrick and Amon-Ra St. Brown on one side. And on the other side, inside of J-Mo, you got Jahmyr Gibbs. Boy, please. Boy, please. Boy, please. And watch Jahmyr Gibbs run a freaking post and watch J-Mo run a go. Man, what you doing? What is this safety doing? The safety is like, oh my God, I'm going to poop my pants. I just peed on myself. Any safety over there is that. Do I cover the post or do I cover the go? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Ain't no, I'm going to tell you what. If it's Amon-Ra St. Brown and Timmy Patrick's side, ain't no safety over there. Because both of the safeties they're like, hey, you see Jahmyr and J-Mo over there? Just forget these dudes over here. You let them do whatever. They got, hey, you one-on-one on the corners. You got to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say that if it was Isaac Tesla, you know, if it's about standing on business and not giving a guaranteed contract to a second round pick, don't sign him because it's a receiver. Tate Ratlage is important. I'm sorry. So, all right. Getting to your. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what else we got. Shift says, let Anzo walk. He literally came back and provided a spark for our defense. Sure, it didn't mean much in the results we got, but got to do right by him. Exactly. Exactly, Shift. Um, Mr. Detroit City is trolling, but at least sometimes he's funny. This man said, ever work in a high volume kitchen? Yeah, you're one play away from the last also. Hot grease. It burns. Oh my goodness. Uh oh my goodness. All right, Detroit Fat Man. Detroit Fat Man says first saying no now and then just agreeing later when the pressure of camp is absolutely buckling. What did I miss? No, I'm not. I'm saying it's not. But see, buckling is a negative term. I'm saying you need to get it done. So I don't care. I'm not being the Cincinnati Bengals and going, well, we said no, just I mean, in this situation, you need to buckle. If you want to say it, if you want to call it buckling, in this situation, that's what you need to do because you need Tate Ratlage. You drafted him to play a very important role. You didn't draft him just to develop. He's not Broderick Martin. You understand what I'm saying? It's not Isaac Tesla. It's not. It's not any of these guys. You drafted Tyleek to play a role immediately. You drafted Tate Ratlage to play a role immediately. Both of those players need to be here immediately, right? Of course, Tyleek's already signed, but Tate needs to be here immediately. We've lost Frank Ragnow to retirement. We lost Kevin Zeitler to the Tennessee Titans. We need Tate Ratlage to be here. Yes, we have Miles Frazier. Yes, we have Christian Mahogany, and so on and so forth. We need Tate Ratlage to be here. So this is what you need to do. You can give it whatever terminology you want to give it. And this is why he said Tesla better perform better than 3 combined players with that BS Brad gave up for him. And this is why most of us did not like the compensation given up for Tesla. It's not the player that we have a problem with, it's the compensation. What up, though, Tactical Sport? Kay says, I'm so happy I'm not blocked. No, you'd never be blocked, Kay. We love y'all. We love you around here, especially TaylorMade. Cool, I get it. I'm also down for buckling. Sounds like almost the entire second round is trying to muscle the league with fully guaranteed contracts. No, yes, Art Vandelay, the entire one, except for the 2 that already got their fully guaranteed contracts. Thank you, Houston Texans, and thank you, Cleveland Browns. Of course, Cleveland Browns. Kay changed her name from Ain't Stressed to Adore. What happens when we need someone to be stressed? Well, it was always Ain't Pressed. So Kay wasn't pressed, but she was always pressed. So that's why she changed her name because she was always pressed. She was always, oh my God, the Chicago Bears gonna town our ass next year. Oh my God. Oh my God, the Packers gonna kick our ass. Oh my God. She was always pressed. Always. her name was always ironic. T-Bone Longs, what up though? Says, man, forget Rutledge. Next man up. It sets a bad precedent for the other players that are watching. Again, are you being the Cincinnati Bengals and winning an argument? Right? I don't know that it sets a bad precedent because here it is. It hasn't been public. It hasn't. So the Shamar Stewart situation has been public. Okay. The Shamar Stewart situation has been, hey, these people ain't trying to win games. They're just trying to win an argument. They're trying to get me to sign this language in this contract. I'm not doing it. Tate Ratlage hasn't said anything. We don't know what the Lions' stance is. The Lions may actually, so here's the thing. We call it buckling. The Lions may actually just be like, look, we're going to let you do whatever you need to do and stand in solidarity with your second round picks. But when it's time for training camp, that Wednesday, we need to get you in here and sign a deal because we're not playing around. Okay, so it's been amicable. He signed the participation agreement. Okay, I forget. I read it, but I mean, he's a second round wide receiver, so I don't remember his name. But there was that one who he didn't show up for mandatory minicamp. Right? He's on that. If you don't give me my fully guaranteed contract, I'm not showing up at all, which is cool. But at the same time, the history of a second round pick hasn't, like, you're expected to do something. Okay. Like we had Brian Branch, right? But you're a second round pick. For you to make demands about a fully guaranteed contract is kind of wild. It's kind of crazy because you were picked second. You weren't picked first. And the first round picks are not making a stink about anything with their contracts. Shamar Stewart is not making a stink. He just wants to be treated fairly. But if you're calling this making a stink, that's what the second round players are doing. However, because it has not been public and messy, I don't know what the Detroit Lions and Tate Ratlage are actually doing. I don't know where they stand on Tate Ratlage. As I said, they may be supporting him. Right? And it may just be if the guy signs before you, number 56 overall, then we know what to guarantee you. That could be what it is. Like I said, I don't sense any bad blood or any ill will on the Lions' part with Tate Ratlage. All right. Tactical will like this one. All right. Mr. Detroit City says, breaking news, Broderick Martin ate Tate's contract when it was accidentally left on the lunch table, SMH. Taylor Bay said, I was told that Christian Mahogany, another 6th rounder, was Hall of Fame bomb. I mean, he could be. I mean, he did well. I mean, it was against the Bears, but we'll see. At least we know he's capable of doing something. Do the Lions have to wait until everyone before him signs? They don't have to. And if they're, I don't want to say if they're smart. Anyway, if they're smart, they will sign him by Wednesday because they got to get him in camp. I'm sorry. And I don't care what else everyone else is making, what else everyone else signs for. You got to get in camp, Tate Ratlage. So, I mean, again, you might want to wait just so you don't pay out the wrong amount of money, but I'm pretty sure they've got capologists, very good capologists, who know, like, okay, this is what will be paid. They also could call other people and, okay, number 56 overall, who I don't know who that is, who was picked before Tate Ratlage. I don't know. But you call the team that picked him, like, what's your projection for a salary for him? But no, I don't think they have to wait. Stay in Vision, what up, though? Says, well, if it's fully guaranteed, doesn't that mean the team has to put all that money into an account so they don't spend it? That sounds like a lot of money to set aside just waiting in an account. No, it's not a lot of money because we're talking about a second round draft pick. You're talking about the guy last year. The guy last year that was picked in Tate Ratlage spot. He got $6.8 million. It wasn't fully guaranteed. So you're talking about guaranteeing $6.8 million. And that's the other thing that I forgot. No, the Detroit Lions don't have to wait because they do have precedent from the last year. Whoever was picked in his situation, and we went over him and we said his name, but I don't remember it because he doesn't play for the Detroit Lions and he's a second round draft pick. Okay. If you had said a first round draft pick like Jamar Chase or something like that, then I probably would remember. But because you have the precedent from that person being signed and what he got, he was signed 6.8 million, 3.8 million of it was guaranteed. 6.8 million is not a lot to put in escrow to sit there. So it's guaranteed. You're talking about putting 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 200 million, all that type of stuff in escrow for first round draft picks or not first round draft picks, but your second contract when you get the bag. Yeah, 6.8 million in comparison is pennies. To me, it ain't pennies. I'd love to have 6.8 million. Okay. I'd love to have the 3.8 million that was guaranteed. Hell, give me 2 million. Give me one, and I'm good. All right, T-Bone Logue says, I actually respect the Bengals position. The league has trash organizations overpaying star players because they sell tickets, i.e. Browns and Raiders. I don't respect the Bengals position at all. The Bengals had, T-Bone Logue, hear me now, hear me out now. The Bengals had Chad Johnson. The Bengals had Chris Henry. The Bengals had Vontaze Burfict. I forgot about Vontaze Burfict. The Bengals have Vontaze Burfict. Never did any of those people ever get any clause that said, this is a morality clause, you must sign this, yada, yada, yada. Last year's first round draft pick did not get a morality clause. Shamar Stewart has never been in trouble. Why is it so important for him to sign language that says we will void your contract if you get in any trouble? Why now is it that important? And if it is that important to you, Bengals, you're going to lose your 19th overall, or was it 17th overall pick in Shamar Stewart. And he's going to be drafted by some other organization next year. So I don't respect that position at all. If it was what they do, and if it was what they did in the past, if they had a precedent, why are you trying to set a precedent with me? That's what Shamar Stewart is saying. I just want to be treated fairly like everybody else has been treated in the history of the organization. Now you want to set a precedent with me? If you were the Ravens and you were drafting Mike Green and you wanted to do this, okay, no problem. Because everybody knows Mike Green has a history of not being able to keep it in his pants. Right? Shamar Stewart has no history of anything but playing football. So, cannot respect the Bengals for that at all. At this point, I say have a couple of the big fellas hold Tate down, shave his mullet and stash, use Biden's auto pen to seal the deal. Welcome to Detroit. Not the mullet and the stash. But the pay is the pay. They are arguing over guaranteed money. Yeah, they want to get it fully guaranteed. So we're not saying, we're not saying that like what they should get. And that's why I said like they have precedent over what the pay should be. Well, Ennis Breakstraw will be ready to roll. That's all I know. Right. And again, like imagine if this had been like last year, like And Ennis Rakestraw was holding out for guaranteed money. And you're like, bruh, I need to see you get on the field. You have an extensive injury history. You understand what I'm saying? So I think if it was last year, people would be a little bit angrier. Though some of y'all sound a little bit angry at Tate Ratlage right now. But if it was Ennis Rakestraw, I think the anger would be up there. Everyone should have learned from the Watson contract. Players can't guarantee that they will play every game. You can't guarantee that you'll play every game, but look at the NBA. Their contracts are fully guaranteed. Baseball, their contracts are fully guaranteed. I don't know about hockey. Are hockey contracts fully guaranteed? I mean, they should be. They're on the low end of the spectrum. Of all the major sports, hockey is paid the least amount of money. Hockey is like football on ice. Okay, it's football on skates. I think hockey probably should get a little bit more money, but that ain't none of my business. Mr. Trusty says, I'll take the 0.8. Yeah, me too. Hassani Mahdi says, let's be fair. Owners and players and their agent have to sit and create a contract to guarantee players of their work, which the two parties are taking a risk of an injury, so must come to an agreement. Facts. The NFL, their players out of anybody, okay? You want to see that contract guaranteed because the risk of injury in the NFL is much greater than any other sport. Like I said, other than hockey, where you could freaking get slashed by a skate and die on the ice, that's really like hockey and football are the only sports that like death is really a thought. You know what I mean? You can die on a basketball court, but that's usually some sort of heart condition or, we've seen it happen. But it's not because of the physicality of the game. See, Adore, okay, sometimes that's why we don't talk about what you say. Because you be on some Real Housewives-ish. Chip Bradshaw says, do you think this sets a precedent for future drafts moving forward? I mean, that's what they're trying to do. I don't see the underlying issue here for me. The biggest problem for me, and I think it's being glossed over. What is the NFLPA going to do now? Because they're going to have to clean up their image. If they don't, here's the thing that's more important for the players. It's more important for the players, and that's why I said it's got to be next offseason top priority. It's more important for the players to say whoever is in that NFLPA, whoever is in the leadership who knew about this situation, which is probably everybody, needs to go. You must go. You must be fired. You must be replaced. You can no longer represent us. This is what is the most damning part of this situation. Because I can tell you what, had this report not come out, and meaning the report didn't come out because there was no report, because the NFLPA was doing their job anyway. Because the NFLPA was, okay, we found this collusion and all this stuff. Now we're going to go to court. Now we're going to take Roger Goodell and the league to court, and we're going to do all these things, and we're going to fight for our constituents. Had they done what they were supposed to do, I don't think that this would be currently happening. I don't think Tate Ratlage would be sitting here right now without a contract signed. So that part to me is what the players need to focus on. Again, they need to focus on it next offseason because it's very late in the offseason. Training camp's right around the corner. Rookies report on Wednesday. It's Monday. Okay? So that is the biggest piece of importance that needs to be taken care of next offseason. I love hockey, but business is business. Connor McDavid makes about 12.5 a year. They need to grow and improve and negotiate better for their guys to get paid. So here's what I think hurt hockey. Remember when the NHL went on like hiatus? Like the league folded. Do y'all remember that? The league folded. I think, I don't know, how many years did it fold for? A year or two or something like that? Maybe 3? And then it came back. The popularity of hockey took a hit, a huge hit. I remember as a kid, I never missed a Red Wings game. As an adult, I don't remember the last Red Wings game I watched. Now, some of that is because I couldn't handle going to the playoffs 25 straight years and then you expect me to watch non-playoff hockey. I couldn't handle it. I could not do it anymore, right? It was too much of an emotional drain to go from a 25-year high to now it seems a 10-year low. Haven't been to the playoffs in almost 10 years. So, you know, yeah, but when you trade someone in basketball, the contract goes with them. The team that traded them isn't stuck paying all unpaid guaranteed money, dead money. Right. But the contract is guaranteed. That's all I was saying. Yeah, the dead money thing is a NFL situation. MMA fighting, yes, you can die. Boxing, you can die. But I said major sports. I said the 4 major sports are always going to be football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. MMA is a niche sport. Boxing, it's no longer the sweet science, you know. I don't watch the MMA. I don't know. I'm just not interested in it. I was a big boxing fan, and like for you to replace boxing with MMA, I don't care for it. It's like no, that's different. The WNBA is getting subsidized by the NBA. I think like 80% of the revenue is subsidized by the NBA. But I get your point. They bring in pennies and get paid pennies compared to NBA players like they deserve. Any other failure business in the real world would go out on bankruptcy. Yeah, that's true. But like I said, they are subsidized. By the NBA. There's no way rookie contracts or any contract for that matter should be fully guaranteed. I could see 25 to 50% not fully. So if you're not going to fully guarantee an NFL contract, then you need to give them lifelong health care. So this is all part of what the NFLPA should have been negotiating. The NFLPA should have been ready to walk out. But the problem is the players themselves. So this banding together of the second round picks is really like a watershed moment because NFL players generally can't band together for anything. For anything. Right? If they wanted health care for it, couldn't band together for it. I got kids, I gotta feed my kids now. Like, didn't you just make 30 million last year? What do you mean you gotta feed your kids? I'm Do you not have that 30 million that you just made last year? Is it not in the bank? Even if you spent 29 of it, I think they can eat cereal, they can eat Burger King, McDonald's, they can eat whatever you buying for them with $1 million. If you got $30 million that you made last year and ain't nothing in the bank, that's a you problem. That is a you problem. You know, that is a you problem. Um, that hour just flew by. It was actually, we coming in on an hour and 15 minutes. But I appreciate everyone for coming through, stopping by, having your opinions heard and read. It was great, man. It was a good show. It was a fun episode. I appreciate everyone. So let me get a few more comments. We'll do a few more comments and then we'll wrap it up. So if the league makes all new rookie contracts to be fully guaranteed, do you see other things like ticket costs, merch, concessions, etc. will go up? You got to. You got to get the money from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the money from somewhere. So things are going to continue to go up. I mean, but you've got the TV deals and everything, which continue to go up every year. The cap continues to go up every year. So I don't know how much these other things would go up. I don't think it would be an extreme. Like if it's $12 for a hot dog, I don't think you'd be paying 34. So I don't think it would be an extreme raise in price. But you could see a bit of a price hike. Don't want to go broke like Deontay West. Then who knows what you got to do to get that next bag. Yeah. Street things. Yeah. Well, Delonte was, sorry. But the current CBA runs through 2030. So you got 5 more years. But the reason I said that about the NBA contracts is because I can understand who the NFL owners don't want to fully guarantee contracts. Why the NFL owners don't want to fully guarantee contracts? I mean, I can understand why anybody doesn't want to fully guarantee a contract, but I believe it should be fully guaranteed. I mean, if it's not fully guaranteed, like the vast majority of it, I believe it should be. uh, uh, like I said a few episodes ago, they will rework how contracts work within the next 5 years. So when you're paying a quarterback $200 million per year, you're going to be like, you know what? This ain't sustainable. We can't keep paying these dudes all this money. So yeah, I think it's coming. They gotta do something. They got to do something. All right. Let's get our mailbag in. Mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Mailbag. That's my mailbag jingle. Y'all like it? That's gonna be the mailbag jingle. It's snick. Hey, mailbags in the scent. Hey. Um, Contracts will change when we have expansion teams, especially overseas. Um, I don't know. Are we getting expansion teams overseas? I mean, we might have one within the next 10 years, maybe. I don't know. Everyone has been speculating that the Jags are going to move to the UK. Um, so that's Saudi button money, baby. Let's go. Um, if Saudi gets a team, they will have to buy it from Saudi. Um, Ain't nobody playing in Saudi. I lived in the region for 15 years. Unless you got a dome stadium, which there's not many of those over there. In Qatar, they have one. Um, yeah. That's it. Like if you've got a dome, because from September, you're talking about death. Yeah, you're talking about death heat. you, in September, it's still 50 degrees Celsius, which is like 100 plus Fahrenheit. So yeah, they can build it, but they haven't. So they would have to do that in preparation for getting a team. And then the time difference isn't really that much. It's only 8 hours ahead. So, it's not a big jump. All right, mailbag. Have we talked about getting rid of Project Martin? Also, why did he change his jersey number? Isn't like anyone is saying, "Oh man, let me go get that new Project Martin jersey." Um, no clue. So he originally was 98, right? And then he switched to 99 when DJ Reader came in. Did he change it again? I haven't been paying attention to Project Martin number changes. Mailbag, if the Lions don't sign Ratledge or Anzalone, how big a distraction does that become for the Lions front office? A very big distraction because you have the leader of your defense um, who's not there. And then you have a young, promising rookie who is supposed to help you replace either Frank Ragnow or Kevin Zeitler, and he's not in the building. So that's going to be a big distraction because just like with the edge rusher stuff, all of the media is going to be asking Brad Holmes about these contracts until they get done. They would probably just build an island for the NFL to. That doesn't help with the climate. Unless they're building it somewhere uh cool or somewhere else. Like, and not just injuries, draft busts, and trades that make fully guaranteed contracts a problem. Um, to be clear, I don't think rookie contracts should be fully guaranteed because you've done nothing in the league. I don't think you should get a fully guaranteed contract as a rookie. I think I'm talking about your second contract. Okay. Your second contract with the team should be fully guaranteed. That's my thing. But just paying you on your promise, no. Broderick Martin's jersey is just a king size blanket. They said Broderick been working, man. He's been working on his, sveltness, his svelte with sveltativity. Um, 98 when Z Smith was on the team, and then went to 99 when he was cut. Ah, okay. Okay. I don't know, bro. I don't know why he changed it. But Reader was 98. Isn't Reader 98? Because Reader got the number from Broderick Martin. All right, Mailbag. If the distraction is real, how does that change the odds in Vegas on the Lions winning the NFC North, let alone beating the Eagles to the punch? I don't know how it changes the odds, but I'm pretty sure it would change them. Because your offensive line would then be a even larger question. The guy that you drafted to replace people is not there, so now you've got to rely on Miles Frazier, who I believe was drafted in the 5th round, and Christian Mahogany, who was drafted in the 6th round last year. You got to rely on those guys to do something. And then it's like whoever gets cut in camp, they're gonna come in and be fillers. Cologne is gonna be there. Like it's not a great situation. So you go from the offensive line being one of the absolute strengths on this team to it being potential season crippling weakness. So you don't want that to happen. Working on that box of donuts. Dantes Pruitt. What up, though? No, he's losing out a rookie who has done nothing. We know the rookie has done nothing, but he's expected to replace someone. That's the point. He's your contingency plan. Okay, so now you need to have a contingency plan for your contingency plan, and that's not good. That's not good at all. Are the Bears the team to beat? No. No. Realistically, I don't see this not getting done. I think it gets done. I hope he doesn't miss any of training camp. He definitely needs to be playing in the Hall of Fame game. He needs to get all the live game reps that he can get. Are the Bears the team to be? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out, stopping by for a drink and conversation. I got a cup, but I don't have a drink in it today. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. I got a late start on my day, so I need to go ahead and get out here and make some monies. So appreciate you once again. Please stay up to date. I will hopefully be starting more development on this fantasy football app with training camp around the corner. I need to go ahead and get it done. Bro, I've been so close yet so far away to getting this editing app done that it's very, very frustrating. But I will be working on it. I will be giving you updates. I will be giving you preview links and things like that, so you can go check it out for those of you who are interested in fantasy football. So keep it locked, and we will be here. Appreciate you once again, guys. Motor City Cats R&D back at it. If you are not subscribed to the Motor City Cats, we are on the road back to 1,000. We are not far away. I think we are at 808 as of the beginning of this stream. We're at 808. So let's go ahead, smash that like button, share, subscribe. Tell everyone you know to subscribe so we can get over 1,000 by the start of the season. I'm pretty sure the football fever will be ramping up here very, very soon with training camp around the corner. But it is what it is, guys. Appreciate you all once again. The Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Came to give you stats and not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.